The hot beverage of comfort would become my go-to method of dealing with someone in emotional distress.
10. Where did Sheldon's fascination with comics come from?
What about this one for my nephew?
A superb choice.
Oh, great.
Yeah, provided he has already read Infinite Crisis and 52 and is familiar with the reestablishment of the DC multiverse.
The Big Bang Theory had no shortage of comic book references throughout its run. All the boys were avid comic collectors, and the characters within them would often be discussed during various episodes.
Got your basic clean-cut good guys, Superman, Spider-Man, Captain America. Then you have your darker anti-heroes, your Batman, your Wolverine, Punisher.
Ooh, I do love a bad boy.
It would be easy to assume their adoration for the books came from the typical geek culture stereotype. Yet for Sheldon, his origins started far differently. In a very early Season 1 episode of Young Sheldon, he spots his friend Tam reading a comic and mentions those are for kids. Yet when he gets dragged to a psychiatric's office, he spots an X-Men comic that piques his interest.
The comic I picked up was called X-Men. Young mutants with incredible powers who were feared and misunderstood by the entire world.
Hey, it's about me.
It's not long later before he too ends up at a comic book store looking for the follow-up issue, and the rest is history.
You challenge me, I like that.
Number 9. When did Georgie become interested in tires?
Could just be the thermostat not opening right.
That is correct. And how'd you know that?
I took auto repair last year.
And you actually paid attention?
I'm as surprised as you are.
When Sheldon and Amy finally decided to get married, audiences got to meet Sheldon's older brother, Georgie. He'd been mentioned occasionally throughout the show, but we had never seen his face. We come to learn that Georgie owns a very successful tyre business, and that he and Sheldon rarely speak.
What the hell are you doing here?
Hello, Georgie.
It's just George now.
Fine. George. No, I don't like it. Georgie.
The origins of Georgie's affinity for tyres can be traced back to the ending of a Season 2 episode of the prequel series. Inspired by the pottery scene from Ghost, we see Georgie communing with a tyre to try and find where the leak is.
Talk to me. Tell me where it hurts. Gotcha.
Both George Sr. and Herschel, the owner of the shop, stand in shock as Georgie clearly seems to know something about tyres. Number 8. Why does Sheldon offer hot beverages?
What's going on?
Well, Howard's gonna sleep here tonight. He had a fight with his mother.
Did you offer him a hot beverage?
Despite his sometimes robotic behaviour, Sheldon Cooper is not beyond showing compassion for those around him.
Leonard, social protocol states when a friend is upset, you offer them a hot beverage, such as tea.
Tea does sound nice.
When his rival Paige is saddened by her parents' divorce, Sheldon decides to make her a hot beverage to provide some kind of comfort. As George learns of what his son is doing, he smiles and says,
I'm proud of you.
Older Sheldon, as the narrator, tells the viewer he was surprised to hear his dad's words, but enjoyed them nonetheless. Fast forward to the Big Bang Theory, and Sheldon's obsession with consoling hot beverages would be the norm. Could it be his own way of keeping his dad proud?
Sheldon, your friend is hurting. What do we do when someone's hurting?
Offer them a hot beverage.
And when they're drunk as a skunk, what beverage do we offer?
Coffee.
Number 7. What was the deal with Sheldon and his dad? Sheldon would comment on his late father's drunken antics and infidelity frequently throughout the Big Bang Theory.
When I opened the door, I saw my father having relations with another woman.
Had that been all we knew about his dad, we might have thought of him as being a terrible father.
I always wanted my dad to build rockets with me, but he wasn't interested.
It wasn't until young Sheldon came along we learned much about George before things went sour. At least during the years seen so far, George may not fully understand much of what Sheldon talks about, but he's certainly far kinder and more sympathetic to his son than what we had come to believe. Given what we know is coming, it could be that the worst parts of his dad are what overshadowed the good times he had as a young child.
I got fired, Sheldon. And I got a bad reputation.
Oh, that's why you drink so much beer.
Number 6. Has Sheldon always hated engineers?
Oh, come on. You might have gone to school for a couple more years than me, but guess what? Engineers are just as smart as physicists.
You take that back.
Season 4 of Young Sheldon saw our favourite genius become a lab assistant to Dr. Linkletter while he was doing research. Excited to be participating in real science, Sheldon quickly learns what assistants really do, the scut work. While scrubbing the grease of 473 bolts, Sheldon comments that it's a
tedious menial part that can be performed by a monkey, or worse, an engineer.
And from there, we have the origins of countless jabs at Howard Wolowitz's expense.
Engineering, where the noble, semi-skilled laborers execute the vision of those who think and dream. Hello, Oompa Loompas of science.
No matter what the dicky-wearing engineer ever did, Sheldon would forever be insulting Wolowitz's intelligence. Thanks a lot, Dr. Linkletter. Couldn't you have thrown him a bone or something just to keep him happy? Number 5. What about Sheldon's idol, Professor Proton?
I power a clock with a potato.
Shut up! You can do that?
Who could possibly forget Bob Newhart's multiple appearances as Professor Proton on The Big Bang Theory? When Sheldon hires him to come to the apartment, we're given a glimpse at his childhood hero.
What do you think will happen?
I think I know.
It's gonna get sucked in.
He digs out an old autographed photo of the professor and tells the story of how he watched Proton every day after school. Sure enough, during the pilot episode of Young Sheldon, we find multiple references to Sheldon's adoration for Newhart's character. We see Sheldon panic when he can't find his bow tie to wear to school, citing Professor Proton always wearing one.
I have to find my tie. I have to find my tie.
Be right back.
Professor Proton wears a bow tie.
And finally, we see Sheldon watching him on TV every day when he gets home, just as he had described to him as an adult.
Can a clock be powered by an ordinary potato? I hope so, boys and girls, but this is going to be a really boring episode.
Number 4. Did Sheldon have kids? During the earlier seasons of The Big Bang Theory, fans would never have predicted Sheldon would end up with a girlfriend, let alone his own family. Yet the writers found a brilliant way to introduce the character of Amy, and Sheldon's life would never be the same.
I wasn't going to give them any of the good names. I'm saving those for us.
Really? You thought about our kids?
Of course. I think you and I will have exceptional children.
There were a few episodes that teased the idea of Sheldon and Amy having children, but the show never gave us a definitive answer. That is until the season 1 finale of Young Sheldon. The narrator casually mentions his own children when talking about contracts.
I would go on to draw up such contracts throughout my life, with roommates, with my wife, even with my own children.
We then learn he named his son after his best friend Leonard.
In fact, it was the best graduation party I had ever been to. Until the one we had for my son, Leonard Cooper.
As unique as he is, we love the idea of Sheldon having a family of his own.
I wanted his name to be Leonard Nimoy Cooper, but Amy wouldn't let me.
Be happy I let you name him Leonard.
Okay.
Number 3. What are the origins of the agreement? Leonard and Sheldon had their share of fights over the roommate agreement.
According to the roommate agreement, paragraph 9, subsection B, the right to bathroom privacy is suspended in the event of force majeure.
A contract signed by both of them dictating the terms of their living arrangement. From what they watched to the thermostat settings, the two consistently found themselves at odds.
Dr. Leonard Hofstadter,
You are officially charged with 2 violations of the roommate agreement.
For Sheldon, however, the structure of these agreements somehow seemed to help him structure his world. He even drafted one for him and Amy. We would come to learn in young Sheldon that his obsession with contracts originated with his Meemaw. He helped her and Dr. Sturgis work out the ground rules of their courtship by providing a list of rules formulated as a contract.
Please sign and date.
You know, Sheldon, I'm a notary, if that helps.
Just when I thought you couldn't get cooler.
The narrator tells us how it helped him remove confusion around social relationships. Number 2, what is Soft Kitty's backstory? As smart as he is, both young and older Sheldon both seem to have an affinity for a childhood lullaby called Soft Kitty.
Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur. Happy kitty, sleepy kitty, purr, purr, purr.
Sung to him when he is sick, this tune surfaces time and time again over the course of the original show's 12-year run.
Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur.
In another Young Sheldon Season 1 reveal, we see his mum taking care of him and her pulling out this classic tune to help cure Sheldon of his ailments.
Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur.
Fans had heard him mention the origins of the song before, but to hear her sing it to him as a young child was a nice way to show us the origins of this classic song in his life.
Weiches Kätzchen, warmes Kätzchen, das nie und nimmer mört. Liebes Kätzchen, müdes Kätzchen, schnurrt, schnurrt, schnurrt.
1. Where did Bazinga come from? Even if you're not a fan of the show, you've at least heard of the word Bazinga thanks to The Big Bang Theory.
Come here!
Bazinga. Bazinga. Bazinga.
Although it has been around for a while, it cemented itself into pop culture by becoming Sheldon's catchphrase when he'd crack the occasional joke or pull a prank. The word is so closely tied to his character that it would be easy to think he created it himself.
Someone else in the vicinity of Jesus Christ.
Bazinga.
But after a visit to the comic book store as a child, Sheldon spots a display of silly gags made by the Bazinga Novelty Company. And just like that, the famous catchphrase was born.
Please, take a piece of gum.
What?
Just please. Bazinga.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.